Welcome, everybody, to episode 39 of the Hotfix podcast. Today, we are talking about, first and foremost, Jeremy's first experience in Rust, do a little follow-up on the last episode, and then we're going to go over how to actually set goals, because let's be real, you set goals, but you never achieve them.
Wow, dude. way to come out strong, dude.
Okay, maybe that was a little too much.
I can't even follow that up. Let's just do the intro, man. I don't know.
Welcome to Hotfix, the weekly podcast that dives into the fascinating world of streaming, gaming, and esports. With your hosts, Brant Vladichuk and Jeremy Kelly.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Self-Help with Brant, episode number 39.
I'm so sorry. That came out, it sounded a lot better in my head, but as soon as that came out, this episode is not as grim as I made it.
As Brant might make it seem. Dude, I had a thought today, which is always a dangerous way to start off a conversation. But can you think of a worse way to first meet someone than if it's like, hey, dude, I'm Jeremy. Nice to meet you. And he goes, yo, I'm Steve. I run a podcast. Like, wouldn't that be like, that's the affliction shirt of words, isn't it?
I mean, I haven't really thought of this before, but if that's the first thing they say, then I'd be like, okay.
Like, surely you're not off to a strong start.
Unless you're Joe Rogan.
I mean, like, if it's like, hey, nice to meet you, I'm Jeremy. He's like, oh, hey, I'm Joe Rogan. You're like, oh, who? Then that would be a bit strange too, I suppose.
I guess. And he's like, oh, I run a podcast. Oh, congrats. Oh, okay. Good for you.
Yeah,
Good for you.
I bet you do. Sure. Whatever you say.
My niece also has a podcast. It's very cute.
Oh, my God. All right. Before we get going, ladies and gentlemen, if you do enjoy what you're hearing, please like, comment, subscribe, bells, follow channels, audio, video, whatever things you're watching, listening on. Dude, I'm really good at that.
And feel free to do that even if you're not enjoying what you're listening to.
Yeah, maybe someone will help us out. We need a couple of more subscribers on YouTube in order to get that unique URL, dude, which is like, oh my God, are we famous now? Can I say I run a podcast on first meeting?
Yeah, because we're going to have a custom URL. You know, I tweeted out that we only needed 5 more. And then we lost a subscriber.
Dude, I bet it was your dad.
The next day I looked and we had 94. I was like, oh, shit. I should keep my mouth quiet.
It's a bait, dude.
I just reminded
that's
somebody.
That's the thing that happens, though, eh? Like, that's, like, legit a thing. I remember back, like, I guess a couple years ago now, when Shroud first started streaming, and he was like, dudes, we're getting like super close to 1 million subscribers on YouTube. So he like had like the counter up on his screen, just like watching it as it was going to hit 1 million, and it kept going down by like hundreds.
As
like,
a meme, people are just mass unsubbing.
Yeah. It's like it rarely works. I feel like it always works in the wrong direction. Obviously, like you just said.
Yeah.
Anyway, what we were talking about was my first experience with Rust, right?
Yeah, we had the full episode last week talking about it.
So, you and I played, and dude, and we played for what, like 3 hours, kind of something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this is like, ladies and gentlemen, like this is me having never even seen the load up screen, like knowing absolutely zero about the game. And I feel like that 3 hours went pretty smoothly.
Yeah,
like we had a base and gear and didn't really die and just like did stuff.
We started
like,
pretty safe for the first time.
Yeah. I was like, okay, like this is like cool. Like there wasn't like a whole lot of issue finding like the low grade fuel and like the cloth to get like your first bow or whatever. Like these like weren't necessarily difficult tasks. So it was like fine. I was like, okay, I get this. Like this is fun. Cool. Absolutely. Then yesterday, which we're recording on the 15th, so on the 14th, I played with my friend Spicy on a wipe day.
Yeah, wipe days are gnarly.
And this was a very different experience.
Yes.
Dude, just trying to get to the area where we were like, okay, like this seems far enough away from key monuments, but also like close enough that you could go and do the thing. It seems to be in like a decent location or whatever. Just getting there, I died about 20 times.
Was this
like,
on stream or off stream?
It was off stream, but it was on Spicy's stream. So I was just like, I'm running through and I'm like, okay, this is fine. I'm most of the way there. And then like someone shoots with a bow and arrow. I'm like, all right, sure. Why not? Then you randomly respawn and you have to do the run again. Dude, I did this rinse and repeat. It was like that Tom Cruise movie, dude, where he just like keeps dying and reliving the same experience over and over.
Oh yeah.
It was like this. So it was like just dying. And then like I thought I hear like animal footprints. I'm like, oh, sick. Like I have like a rock. If that's a deer, I can like kill him and get some stuff. I jump over the hill and it's a boar and he laces me to death. Like I'm toasted, dead again. I'm like, amazing. Okay, this is really going good. I meet a guy. He sounds friendly. He's like, hey man, come here. I'm going to give you some stuff. I was like, oh, sick, dude. What's up? And he goes, I'm going to give you an axe to the face. And then he axed me to death. I'm like, this is impossible. Like we got to the point where Spicy had to like build me a bag in the base he had built and gift it to me so I could respawn at this location. So I was never going to get there. Like clearly this is an impossible feat. So then we had a hell of a lot of trouble finding cloth and even more trouble finding low grade fuel. Cause I guess on a wipe day, everyone's looking for low grade fuel to get their first furnace going.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So these are things that I was learning, and man, like me and Spicy and one of our other friends were playing, and like I'm planting a hemp seed to try to maybe grow a little bit of cloth. Like it's dire situations over here. And then we just hear gunshots and helicopters flying around. And I'm like, dude, we're not playing the same game as these people.
No, there's so many things going on, man.
Like they are so far ahead of what we're doing. So that was a very different experience. And the spawn, die, collect, you have a stone spear and your hatchet and your pick and then die again and then die again and die. That got frustrating. Like there's how you said that you Rust makes you into like a different type of person kind of thing.
Yeah.
A rage that I felt inside my body for these people that were killing me over and over is unlike anything. It's like something that burns deep down in the bowels of your soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all I wanted was to craft some kind of actual weapon and just go on a murdering spree.
And now imagine you did that. You finally got your base down. You finally got a furnace down. And then someone raids you, kills you, and steals all of it.
It's I think I obviously had two very, very different experiences, but I also feel like those two experiences are, the extremes of what Rust is. And that's without including doing any kind of late game.
Yeah, you've only touched early game. You haven't even gotten to mid or late game yet.
That's fair. So I've seen how straightforward and fairly lackadaisical the early game can be. Yeah. And I've seen this is a hellish nightmare and no one deserves to go through this. Right? That's so like I think from what you were talking about with what Rust was, I understand it now. I think I get it.
Nice. So is it a game you're gonna continue playing? Is it gonna be in your game arsenal, as you could say?
It's a game I want to delve further into to see how much I enjoy the mid to late wipe gameplay. Because if every time I played it was like how I played it yesterday, there's not a chance I'd keep playing it.
No, you play for the mid to late game.
Yeah.
And when you get
understanding. Understanding that this is like we started on a server that had wiped like 8 hours ago. So we're behind the 8 ball to start off. All the low grade resources are being gobbled up by people that have gear. And like I get that that's like a thing, but it's a level of frustration that I haven't felt since like I don't know, a teammate throwing a ranked game in League of Legends or something back like 6 or 7 years ago. You know what I mean? It's like that kind of like, I would commit physical harm to this person if they were in front of me.
Well, it's just keep at it. Once you get really good, you can get out of the early game in a matter of hours on wipe day and be
no doubt. And thankfully, like by the end of the run, we ended up like we had the furnaces going, we had the keypad locks on the base, we had our little thing set, like, you know what I mean? Like we were starting to get to a point where it's like, okay, like now we can, if we don't get raided, I suppose, like you said, we could probably start looking at doing some stuff now. And like I think Spicy's playing now, right? So who the hell knows if I log back onto the same server? He probably has a fortress built. Nice. So it's cool, but I get it. I fully understand why people get really into it, and I think it would be remiss of me to not see it through to, you know, your mid to late game. See what a raid is like. What's it like to be like someone who can actually fight back, as opposed to throwing your rock at someone and running for the hills, right? Like, yeah,
that's the next step. Is we have to raid together, and then we have to take one of the big monuments, like the oil rig, together. And experience that, because that's fun as hell. Hey, you got the same mug as me. You got the
dude. It's like
the bone
you
shaker
had it
mug
at your place, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like, remember, I almost bashed you over the head with it. Just ran out of your apartment because I wanted it so bad.
It's so good. All right, I guess. Is that all?
That's for Rust. That's for sure.
Rust. So
we wanted to get into
10 out of 10 best game.
I'm sorry?
In conclusion, 10 out of 10 best game.
10 out of 10 best game confirmed. Absolutely. So you wanted to talk to us. You wanted to talk to us? No, that's not the sentence. You wanted to talk about setting goals, but not just like, hey, you should set a goal. It's 2021 New Year's resolution, bro. Go to the gym.
Yeah.
Right? It's how to properly set goals in an attainable fashion so that you could not be, well, failed another one. I guess I might as well give up.
Yeah, because I feel like everybody, myself included, for a long time, did the exact same thing. It's always chasing some arbitrary number you set for yourself. Whether it's for streaming, it's like, well, it's January 1st. By Christmas, I want 1,000 followers. Some arbitrary number you pull out of your ass.
Yeah, and that's with like numbers on any kind of social platform is such a wrong way to go about any of that goal setting, because a lot of the numbers, so you can do everything right and still not get the follows, viewers, subscribers, whatever that goal may be, right? Like there's a very large chance that you won't, right? There's not a lot of, like, Twitch is popular, but it's not that popular.
Yeah.
Like it's really not that big a platform in the grand scheme of like the internet. Like I think I seen Devin Nash actually talk about something the other day where he was like, LinkedIn has like 4 or 5 times more active daily users than Twitch.
Oh yeah, Twitch is small.
It's like it's a baby.
Yeah.
So like with that in mind, you know, it's like that 0.1% of streamers hold 98% of all the viewers or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So it's, you know, keeping that kind of stuff out of your goals, I think, is like a huge, like an absolutely phenomenal, like, I don't know, tip? Is that a thing?
Yeah,
I guess
it's
advice.
And
I don't
it's
know.
not just for streaming as well. It can be for anything. Example, like when I was doing my weight loss thing, I didn't put like an end. I want to be X pounds by this date. Again, it's just another arbitrary number that's meaningless. But breaking it down into like actionable items that keep you accountable is what's more important. So, for example, the most recent one is me in Halo wanting to hit the max rank before Halo Infinite. Now, I could just say I'm putting my goal for November 1st because it's probably going to be around November. They don't have a date yet. So instead of just saying I want to hit Spartan rank 152 by November, just putting like that out there, there's nothing actionable about that. So instead, I broke it down as what I have to do daily to hit that. So now my goal is to get 105,000 XP every day until November. So it's
Right.
breaking
Because
down
now,
the end goal into actionable things. Don't just say the end goal and then expect that to happen.
right. And there's a difference that should be noted here because, getting, what is it, 150,000 XP a day, is that what you said?
105.
105,000?
Yeah.
So 105,000 XP a day. That is still putting a number on it, but there's a difference in a number you can control and a number you can't control. That's, I think, a very important sidebar, I suppose, to what you're saying, right?
Yeah. Or like a goal with this podcast is we don't have like a subscriber or a listener goal. Like our goal right now is to keep up with the schedule. Like
right. Yes.
The most important goal for us is recording every Friday and posting every Monday. And if we're hitting those goals, the numbers are going to naturally grow with us. And we're not
100%. Yeah, so that's the difference, right? It's like the number we can control is 4 podcasts a month.
Yeah.
The number we can't control is subscribers, likes, follows, that kind of thing, right?
And just making I want X amount of followers goal is kind of redundant. Everybody who's creating content wants higher numbers. Like my goal is to have 10 million subscribers. So like what's the difference between 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year or 10 million? There's no difference.
100%. Absolutely. That's a very, very, very good point. So taking that, that the actionable goals into, if you want to turn that into the small streamer mentality, what's some kind of actionable goal that you think is something that someone should consider in that case?
So goals I've made for myself, for my stream, for growing it is just keeping up with the schedule. That's a goal. Not like 3 times a week and not missing that. Mm-hmm. Doing my TikTok posting that I'm going to start in February. Mm-hmm. Like making that goal of hitting that every single day. So it's just all the little things that I can do and control and put out in the world that's going to grow that number, whatever it is going to be at the end of the year.
Right.
And I'm also not limiting myself by saying I want 1,000 followers by the end of the year. And, maybe I will have 10,000. And then it's like, whoa,
who knows?
Beat my goal by 9,000. It's like, it's so arbitrary just to throw those like random numbers out there.
And especially because with putting those numbers out there, we all know just the human mentality, right? It's like if you put a goal out, like if we put out a goal and did that, hey, we need to hit 500 follower or subscribers by June or whatever, right? If we got 5,000 subscribers by June, then our goal is just going to change.
Yeah, and
you're not going to be like, hey, sick, we hit our goal when June comes around. You're like, well, now my goal is 10,000. Right?
Yeah,
you're never going to, I don't think you'll ever, if you make like these uncontrollable goals, I don't think you'll ever take the time to enjoy the successes of meeting those goals because it's always going to change, right? If you don't hit it, you're going to feel bad about yourself. If you do hit it, you're just going to change the number to be higher.
And then not hit it and then be mad at yourself.
Yes, exactly. And I think there's huge value in relishing the successes of meeting goals. Yeah. Even if they're small goals. We're in a friggin' lockdown because the plague and that kind of stuff. But, it would be valuable, I think, for us, if we every Friday did our podcast and posted it every Monday and took the time to do all that, and then we celebrated, hey man, another great month of podcast. Hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Like there's not that you want to, throw a parade or anything for meeting these goals, but it's important to take a moment just to recognize the fact that you did something that you set out to do, no matter how menial it may seem, right?
Yeah, of course. And it feels great that we've made it to episode 39. And I think we've missed 3 episodes out of 39.
We did, and 2 of those were because of Christmas.
Yeah.
Right, which is like
great. And I think that's worth celebrating. I haven't even looked at their numbers in a while. The only reason why I want to hit 100 subs is because I want the YouTube URL.
Well, and with that being said, that YouTube URL just makes branding and social posts that we would do just a lot easier, right? Yeah. Like that's pretty much I suppose.
It's really just vanity.
Yeah, no, 100%. But again, which is a cool thing. Like it is, again, it's super cool to be like, hey, dude, we got that 100 subscriber mark. That's amazing. Hell yeah, congratulations, good job, everybody. But we wouldn't want to be like, we need to have that by the end of February.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly.
Right?
It's like it'll happen when it happens. If we keep up with the smaller things that we're doing, like it's gonna get there.
If we keep up with this spectacular content, then how could it not?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
We've made it this far.
That's right, dude. So what are your thoughts then on you're calling, the goals that you have, that your schedule for the podcast, for Twitch, for your TikTok postings, et cetera, you're calling those like actionable goals, right? Which I think is a phenomenal, I'm not sure if that's the actual term, but it's whatever. If you made it up, then great. Good job, dude.
No. All of this is from like a previous job, like a mentor, and also a couple really good books about goal setting and just being more functional as a human.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's all from that.
So what do you think?
2 books, Gabby.
What do you think in that case about, your short-term goals, your medium-term goals, your long-term goals? Like, what do you think about that realm, like that side of goal setting then?
I mean, it's great. I gotta double back a little bit. It's great to have like those end goals. Oh man, you kind of threw a curveball at me. I don't know. I don't really think of short, medium, long-term goals because my long-term goals are kind of ridiculous. Like, I think everybody's long-term goal is just to be the, like, kind of, like, for streaming, to be someone with thousands of viewers making a living off of it. I think that's a pretty obvious long-term goal.
Yeah, but you know what? That being said, like, to have outlandish goals, as some might say, I think is a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Warren Buffett said that if your goal is to make $100,000, then you're only going to make $100,000.
Yes, and that is very true. Like, don't be afraid.
But if
to
your
think
goal is to make $100 million, right? Then that's kind of the difference in the mindset. So like, if the goal, my end goal is a white picket fence, 3-bedroom house, wife, kid, and a dog kind of thing.
Yeah.
Then you're gonna get that exact thing, but why not aim higher than that, right?
Yeah,
like there's something to
some
be
people
said
just
about
don't want to aim
shooting
higher.
for the stars, right?
Or some people are in the mindset that they can't. Like, some people will look at Shroud and be like, well, that's impossible. I'm not going to make millions of dollars playing games. And if you have that mindset, then you're not. Like, you're not going to.
And I think that's the thing, right? I think, there's a mindset of, aiming really high. If you don't quite reach that long-term end dream situation, you still could find yourself in a position that's really, really nice, right?
Yeah, like you might find yourself making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, which isn't millions of dollars a year, and then you kind of stop and you're like, oh shit, I'm doing pretty fucking good.
Well, and see the thing, but the thing about that is that and why I think that advice rings true is because it takes a certain level of commitment, motivation, can-do attitude, this whole like a really, really strong work ethic, and constantly reinventing yourself, not getting complacent. It takes all the insert whatever word fits all that stuff that we're talking about. It takes a certain level of just like of high functioning work ethic, I suppose, to reach that, shooting for the stars, that outlandish goal. But at the same time, what also is true is that it also takes that amount of work ethic to be like a medium-sized streamer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
So
be any
with
size,
that being said, if you put in mind that, hey, I'm going to be the next Shroud. Okay, now I need to work as hard as Shroud did and does for whatever that goal is. But then what you'll end up realizing is that, okay, I worked this hard, and it's only because I worked as hard trying to be the next Shroud that I did get myself to a position where I can actually be a full-time streamer with, 4,000 or 5,000 subs and a sponsorship or two and a decent YouTube channel, and I'm laughing. I'm living a great life.
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
that's like, yeah, that's the thing. Whereas like if you think, all I want is the bungalow with the kid and the dog, the white picket fence and the 2-car, that kind of thing, then your mentality of how hard you have to work to get that might be different, and that could end up limiting yourself for how hard you're willing to work towards your goals.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like it's all about, like you mentioned, like long-term goal for me is more of just like keeping the mindset that right now there is no cap. Like it's go as high as I can. And
Absolutely.
Do what you got to do, and break down those goals that you like. If your end goal is pretty big, like you still have to break it down into smaller, achievable ones. Like,
yeah, you absolutely do. And the thing about having those small attainable goals, those actionable things, the things that you can take the minute to celebrate, whether it's daily, weekly, whatever it may be, it can help you fight through those days when you don't want to do it. Right? The day that, like I remember, like we've talked about this on the podcast before, like back last, May and June and July, my stream was doing really, really good. And it's like the best it ever done by miles. And I wasn't missing a stream day and it was great. And then I just like, at a certain point, I was like, I don't want to stream today. And I didn't. And then my schedule got all thrown all over the place and things kind of slowly died down from there with my motivation to stream and what to stream and what to do on stream and all this kind of stuff starts happening, right? But with that in mind, it's a situation where I wasn't doing the things that we're talking about right now. Like I didn't have actionable goals. It was more so like, how high can we get? That's just it's right. I ended up in this grind mentality, which is just like a horrendous. The worst for not taking my own advice kind of thing, right?
Yeah. And things you can think about as well, I forgot to bring up earlier, are like milestones. Because there are, like, if you're just starting out, becoming an affiliate, you might make as a goal, but I'd look at it more as a milestone.
Yeah.
Like, make the small goals, that do what you need to do to get affiliated, but it's just really just a milestone. Partners. Yeah. Getting partnered is like a mid-term goal, I would say. But it's more of like a milestone to get there.
100%. And I think, if your goal, that goal or that miles or whatever, if you have a goal set out to get affiliated, like celebrate that affiliation, like make it a big deal, like have thousands of people gotten affiliated, sure, but like so did you, and it does take a certain amount of work to get that, like however small or big it may be, depending on the person, everyone views it differently. Yeah. But I think celebrating that and realizing that you're doing something great is valuable, because it can help keep your mindset, or kind of keep your eye on the prize, I suppose, to use an overused term, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's which is really important, because as we spoke about ad nauseum at this point, days will come around. Like days will come for you. I'm like, probably by the end of like if you start posting TikToks in February, by the end of February, I'm sure there's gonna be a day where you're like, man, I really don't want to do that TikTok today. right? Yeah. But that being said, it's like exercising, I suppose, or it's like eating healthy meals, or it's or any kind of just cooking instead of ordering out, or going out for a walk, or it's there's all these kind of things where it's like, if you don't want to do it, but then you do it, you feel so much better after it's been done.
Yeah.
Right. And I think the motivation to get over that hurdle of I don't want to do whatever the thing may be, it can be easier to get over that hurdle if you've set, like you said, those actionable goals, and you're celebrating your small achievements, and you're recognizing the work you're putting in yourself. I think those things are very, very important.
Yeah, and it's way easier to hit like the bigger goal. To bring the Halo example back in, it's like I need 35-ish million experience to get to 152.
Oh, that's all?
Thinking about that is terrifying.
Yeah.
And like obviously just like thinking of that, it's overwhelming to like think of that, and you don't know, it's like didn't know what I had to do to get that, so it's like literally pull out my freaking spreadsheets and figure out exactly what I need to do every day. And now it's not overwhelming at all. It's like
Dude,
just less than an hour a day of Halo will put me on track to get there. And
that's super legit, dude. Like that's actually like such a great way to go about reaching those goals that you can control, right? Like you can break down that like seemingly impossible task into little small, easily attainable tasks.
Mm-hmm.
And turn that into something that all of a sudden you can reach your end goal and you'll hit that. And then like, again, like how we're set, like there'll be we'll do a podcast episode on that once you do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And,
like it's super cool to be able to look at, to look at the mountain you have to climb, but realize that there's small trails the whole way up that makes it possible.
Yeah. And on the point of like missing a day or taking a day off, it's a lot easier to justify, because there'll be a day where I play and I'll grind like 300,000.
Yeah, well, 100%, right? Because you can
can't
just be
do
playing,
it.
and it's not like you have a timer set where it's like, well, it's an hour, gotta go, bye.
Yeah.
If you're like fragging, you're having a bunch of fun, and you're playing with a buddy or two or whatever it may be, and all of a sudden 3 or 4 hours have gone by, and it's a Friday night, you're just like having a few drinks or whatever.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, sick. I grinded like a weekend's worth of XP.
Yeah, and then if I miss a couple days, it's like I'm still on track, and I know
exactly
that because I've made all these little. I've broken the bigger goal down into a whole bunch of small ones, and I know when I can take a break and not feel bad about it.
100%. So, with that being said, let's go to the other side. Yep. What if you don't grind or don't grind? I don't want to use the term grind because I fucking hate it. Rise and grind, dude. If you do miss a weekend's worth of playing for that hour, and now you're 400,000 experience behind, how do you hold yourself accountable? That's the other side of it, right? It's all well and good to say, little tiny achievable goals. Sometimes you'll play for a little bit extra. Sometimes you'll edit 3 TikTok videos in a day, and that like saves you time tomorrow, which is all great. And like, the more you do that, then the easier life is really. I guess there's something to be said about when you're in the mood to do the thing, you should probably go do it. Right?
Yeah. And do like more like.
Yes, well, exactly.
Like I already know I have a lot of banked XP. I could probably take a week off at this point.
Exactly.
But I'm not going to use that unless I have to.
Exactly. So with that said, how do you hold yourself accountable? Like, let's say work gets really busy, you're really tired. What if you, I don't know, if you get sick? What if you get the plague, dude? And you can't play for like a week because you're like bedridden and just feeling like garbage, right? So then you missed a week. How do you hold yourself accountable for those weeks? Like, do you have any ideas on some way to hold yourself accountable?
I mean, in this scenario, it's kind of easy because I'll just plug the new numbers in the little calculator I made, and it'll be like, now you need 109,000 a day.
Fair. Yeah, that's legit.
For something like posting or social media and stuff, you kind of, if you don't have anything banked and there's an emergency, you kind of take an L on that.
Right. I suppose there's sometimes that your control, and there's nothing wrong with missing those things.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
It is going to happen. I guess maybe what I'm looking for is if the only reason you miss is because you're lazy.
Oh, then that's
right. Maybe that's the way to approach the conversation. If you get sick and you can't do it, then it's like, I mean, like, it's nothing that's out of your control. Again, controllable and uncontrollable, right?
Yeah. So
but if you're just lazy and don't do it, is there something about having a to-do list or a whatever it may be? And like, I know there's plenty of, if you watch YouTubers or read books, there's a lot of people who say like making a to-do list in the morning and not going to bed until that thing is done.
I hate that method. That doesn't ever works for me. Like my way of, because I'm pretty lazy. Like if I don't have to do something or I don't feel like I have to do something, I'm not going to do it.
Right.
So I keep myself accountable via like friends. Just like, I need you to just yell at me if I start getting lazy. Making things public. Like anyone who follows me on Twitter will see the content thing that I made. I put that public on my Twitter to just
so it's there, yeah.
And it's also
that
in the back.
Thing is
it's
dope,
also in the back of my head that I've made that public. I have to so I don't look like an idiot.
Yeah.
I have to keep up with that. So you got to put yourself out there a little bit. If you're lazy, get a friend to tell your friend like your plan. Like if you're like, Brant, I need to grind 200 XP in Rust. That's not a thing every day. But I need your help. I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna text you every day and be like, did you do it?
Right, exactly.
And if you say no, then I'm going to text you
great,
again and be like, you better fucking do it.
100%. I remember, anytime have had a lifelong issue of committing to any kind of like exercise or gym or whatever it may be, right? But the times that I've been the best at it is when I have a friend to go with, because then it's like, well, they're anticipating me being there. Right? Like they're ready to go. So now I have to drag my lazy ass up off the couch and get out and do it.
Yeah.
So the friend thing is phenomenal. And the putting out in public is really good too, right? It's the, it's almost like, do you remember doing like, I remember Instagram, this is years ago now, had like just like one of those 30-day photo challenges, right? And day 1 was this, day 2 was that. And it's one of those things like once you get to day 4, it's like, man, I'm this far in, I have to do it now.
Yeah.
Like what am I going to not do day 5?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's legit. Putting out in public is great. Having a friend, someone that you trust, or someone that's like a no bullshit friend kind of thing, right? Like someone who's gonna call you out for being whatever it may be. There's a lot of value in reaching out to that kind of person and just being like, hey, dude, I'm trying to do this. Explain your situation.
Yeah.
Give me a slap if I'm not doing the thing I should be. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, at the end of the day, it is up to you, the person setting the goal, to do it. Like,
and that's a shift in mindset. Like there's a mindset shift.
A million excuses not to do something. And
100%.
Sometimes it's really hard to actually do it. And yeah, you do have to figure out how to get yourself in that mindset. Figure out what motivates you.
Over the summer, I read a book called You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins. Do you know who that dude is? He's like a ultra marathon runner. He's a lunatic. Anyway, at one point in the book, and this is like something that's like just rings true to this conversation, I suppose. He's like, I used to have a mindset if I wanted to go out for a run, but I opened the door and it was snowing. I closed the door, go back to my couch and sit down because it's snowing. But when I changed my mindset, I'd open the door and see that it's snowing. I'd go put a jacket on and still go for that run.
Yeah.
Right. So there's something about just being able to change your mindset to being like, listen, fucker, we're doing this. Right.
Yeah. We're
right. Like there's
it
something,
regardless.
however, changing that mindset works for everybody's different, of course. Right. There are YouTubers, there's books, there's all kinds of things. If you have no idea how to go about motivating yourself, there's certainly a whole bunch of ways you can like figure out ideas, and some will work for people and it won't work for others, but there are plenty of ways to go about it. But I do strongly think that there is a certain mindset change or a certain mindset that you need to have in order to maintain consistent goals and the same, to commit to the same activity over and over and over again, day in, day out, for an extended period of time. Right. Yeah. Whether it is posting daily on TikTok, whether it is, like if we talk like schedules, if we talk, stream Monday, stream Wednesday, record podcast Friday, stream Sunday. Like we do those 4 days, right? That's 4 days. And then on those off days, really you should be figuring out things to do. What can you do to change? Looking for ways to improve. If we're talking like, all the things that someone should be doing, posting on TikTok, posting on, looking up Twitter, having Twitter content, having Instagram content, whatever the thing may be. There's a certain mindset that you need to have to maintain that type of consistency, without burning yourself out, without thinking that it's just the grind that you have to do. There's a strategic way that you can go about all of this. But that change in mindset, I think, really, really helps with, maintaining. And that maintaining, I guess, that's one of the keys to success, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
100%.
Sorry, go.
I was just saying 100%, dude.
Do you have anything more you want to talk about on the goal thing?
I think that's pretty much it. Just to recap, make your goals smaller and actionable and do them. And that's it.
Hold yourself accountable. Celebrate the small victories. That shit's more important, I think, than people realize.
Celebrate the small victories.
Right. There's something to finding ways to keep yourself motivated for when the hard days come along. Right.
Yeah. And figure out how to keep yourself. That's really, like, motivation is really hard. Figure out what keeps you motivated. Try all the different things we've said. If checklists work for you, use checklists. If they don't. I hate checklists when it comes to daily goals. It never works for me.
Yeah. But it definitely works for a lot of people, right? Exactly,
so figure out what works for you. Try different things until you find what works for you.
Exactly. Guys, thank you guys so much. Guys, thank you guys. Jesus. Friends, thank you guys so much for listening to episode number 39 of the Hotfix podcast. We do post every single Monday, except for apparently 3 times in the year.
But we're going to celebrate that we've made it this far without quitting, because that's
hell yeah, cool. We are, dude. 100%. We hope you guys did enjoy it. As we said at the top of the show, if you guys did enjoy and you're watching on YouTube, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, bells, all those things. It does go a long way with the old algorithm. If you're listening on an audio feed, whatever audio feed that may be, please consider following the channel as well. It certainly helps more than you guys realize. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you. We'll see you next time. All the love. Make plans, goals. Rust is tough. Bye.
Join the Discord. Bye.